Good morning, everyone. This morning, we're going to be talking about an activity. Well, really a principle that I've been embedding into my own life that has really helped save my sanity. It's just made my days a lot more fun. So I thought I'd share it with you guys. Stick through the episode. It's a fun coaching exercise. And additionally, throughout it, we're going to go ahead and write out just some questions to kind of get the gears turning to make sure we have a wonderful day today and a good weekend rolling into it. Happy Friday, everyone. Let's have a banger episode. Cheers, friends. Let's get it. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Chalk Terror Morning Show, where we go over tips, tricks, ideas, and exercises to help make you the absolute best person you can be, not only for yourself, but for the people you love and care about most. Good morning, everyone. Episode 491. Let's get some chalk so we can write on the chalkboard class. Let's get right into it today. Is everyone having a good Friday? I've been enjoying reading a little bit of the news lately. I've been reading a little bit of the news. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I've been reading a little bit of the news, just brushing up on what's going on in the markets and kind of seeing. It's been helpful for generating more ideas. It seems, man, I really do like the news, but it's hard to get away. Just trying to find those side subscriptions, whether it's a show like this or other radio stations. There's a local radio station that I liked. I have to figure out what station it is. It's just set on my car, but I do enjoy getting the news, but it's hard to find the unbiased content. Okay. So this episode is 491, and we're going to be talking about today, how do we save our sanity? How do we save our sanity? Okay. Sanity. I feel like I get a little cuckoo, a little crazy as the days become a little monotonous, day after day, doing this, doing that. We fall into these patterns. I think one of the toughest things that you got to do things long enough to get really good at them, almost to the point to where you're doing them that they're boring. But then if they're boring, then it's like, the variety is the spice of life, right? So where do we find the gift? So I believe there's a lot of principles, a word that we want to highlight. Principles. We've talked about principles or standards that we can set for ourselves to kind of just make sure we know whether we're on track or not. There's something that we say on this show quite a bit. We can't manage what we don't measure. So if we don't measure and kind of check in with ourselves, then I think it's easy to lose our sanity. And when we lose our sanity, it's really hard to be nice and caring and productive and fulfilled and all this stuff that makes life worth living, right? So I want to introduce this new principle, and this is just spending 1 hour. Spend 1 hour doing what you love. Let's draw a heart. That is the worst heart in history. I got good penmanship, but my drawing is dog water. Don't laugh at me, but that is a heart. I'm going to practice my hearts on this weekend like 100 times because that is absolutely despicable. Anyway, so spend 1 hour doing what you love today. 1 hour. What activities would this include? So before we get into the activities, I think it's important to note that for a long time, this was my belief. Everyone's different, right? But I used to believe I had to wait until I was uber rich to do the things that I really wanted to do with my life. Well, I can't go to Europe and be on a private boat with a bunch of billionaires, so today's out the window. Today's just going to suck. Nothing I can do about it. I know that's an extreme example, but I think that's the line of thinking I had for a really long time. Oh, I can't have that much fun until I get some more money. I can't do this. I can't have fun here. I can't. A lot of this just self-narrative bullshit but then if I were to ask you, what if you only had till tomorrow to live? What would be really fun? Like, what would you miss most? And people say, like, going for walks in the park, reading my books, spending time with my family. A lot of these activities we'd be surprised that we have access to right now. And we don't have to throw baller parties at Buckingham Palace to have a good time and to live a high quality of life. So that's where we're coming in to check in. If we want to get to where we want to go, we have to be consistent. Have to be very consistent. Who knows what's in store for the future for me, but this is episode 491. I promised myself I would go to 1,000. So whatever we can pick, it's like, what will come out of this? Maybe a big deal with a bigger company, just growing the 2 companies that I already have. Who knows? It's impossible to know the future, but I believe that if we stay consistent, the people who stay consistent usually tend to get what they want, and they tend to love what they do a little bit more. So the principles and standards that we set for ourselves is we want to spend 1 hour every single day doing something that we love. Because if we don't give this hour to ourselves, to immerse ourselves. Maybe you love lifting weights. Maybe you love reading books. Maybe you love writing. Maybe you love learning something new. Maybe you love golfing. Maybe you love, who knows? So maybe that would be a good segue into the first question is, what activities do you love? Have you ever taken the time to write this out? In the past, I didn't. I think it's easy, and I literally do this stuff for a living, and I didn't write this shit down. I think it's really easy to just kind of go through, oh, I know I like to do that. Oh, I know I like to do that. I put it in the back of my head. But if we don't put it on the calendar, and we don't make time for it like we do the other things, it tends to just get washed away. Where did the time go? Where did the time go? So just maybe starting with, what activities do you really love? Need another piece of chalk, folks. We're rolling right through it today. So for me, I personally love to read. I like reading the news. I like reading about history. I like reading about personal development. I like reading about business. I like reading about even like fantasy stuff. Like there's Game of Thrones, absolutely wild. Lord of the Rings, huge fan. There's a bunch of crazy stuff that I can read about all the time. That's really fun. I love to read. When I can actually get my ass to sit down and do it, I do really love to write. I have this weird relationship with writing. Like, I'm like timid to do it, or I'll make up an excuse. And the best thing that's helped with me with writing is I start pretty small. I'm like, all right, I'm just going to do 10 minutes today. Nothing crazy, just 10 minutes today. So maybe you got something that you've been hesitating on a little bit. Maybe we just dip our foot into the water and take one step forward this morning. So I like to read. I like to write. Maybe I like to lift. I love lifting weights. I'm a big fan of training. So either way, just make your list of the activities that you love to do. Maybe you love to go for a walk in the park. What an incredible activity, walking. When I was a little kid, when I was younger, I'd make fun of people for they're walking. I'm like, you're just walking? That's lame. Walking's not fun. And now I'm like looking around, listening, hearing the birds. And in our small town, we have a river that's I can see from my house. So I'm like walking in the street, like looking at the river, and we got pelicans. I actually saw a fox yesterday. Thought it was super cool. We got a bunch of chickens in our neighborhood, so hopefully the chickens are going to be all right. But either way. So activities that I like to do, that I really love to do: read, write, lift, and walk. And I just want to spend at least 1 hour a day doing this. If I don't give me 1 hour a day, how can I expect my sanity to stay strong, to stay positive, to stay consistent with all the other responsibilities that we have going on in life? So we wanted to check in with these. I have, let me look at my notes. I got a few other questions I want to put on here. Okay, what activities do you want to do? I like this question of, what makes you lose track of time? What makes you lose track of time? Also, are you waiting to take action on what you love to do? So under this idea of spend 1 hour a day of doing something you love, so are we waiting? What are we waiting for? What are we waiting for? I like to ask this question because it's easy to get lost in, like we're just talking about, the responsibilities of the day. I got to help my family with this. I got to do this for my kids. I got this for my work. Oh, I have this side opportunity that I want to address. And then boom, boom, boom. Before you know it, it's dinner time. You eat a little supper, you watch a little TV, and it's time to go to bed. So, what are we waiting for? Maybe I wasn't waiting as much as I was just not making a priority. Maybe that's a key word that we need to get down, is priority. When are you going to start being the priority? When are the activities in the life that you want to live going to start being the priority for you? Today, tomorrow, 10 years from now, later on when you got a certain amount of money? Is the money really going to change anything? And I think just this check-in system of understanding the activities that we want to do, understanding what it is that we love to do, and just putting it in the calendar and having non-negotiables and making this a priority to consistently take action on the things that we love to do so we can save our sanity. This is my pitch for saving my sanity. And just in the last week, I've noticed I feel a little bit lighter. I feel a little bit happier. And it's when we're young, or just how old we are today, like you blink and life is gone. It goes by so fast. And it's amazing to me how I can want to grab for the future. I want to grab for the future. But then when I look back at the past, I'm like, those were the golden years. I was youthful, I had energy, and I had movement and mobility and time and all these things that we tend to forget that are really more important than everything else. So maybe if we get out of our heads, I'm really trying to just get out of my head and into the world so I can help more people, so I can live a better life, and I can do the things that really matter most to me. But I think a huge part of the sanity piece is just this one principle. Spending 1 hour, I'm going to spend 1 hour today doing something I absolutely love. I'm going to spend 1 hour. And for me, that today is I'm going to go for a long walk, and then I'm going to use a sauna. I'm going to go for a long walk, and I'm going to use a sauna. Some people are like, I hate saunas. I don't want to use saunas. I get it. It's hot, sweaty. But for me, when the weather's not that great right now, it's a little chillier. It's warm and it's nice. And I just feel like a bunch of relief and toxic bullshit getting out of my body. So for me, that's something I love to do. So I'm going to spend an hour at least today to do that. Anything else bonus that comes around, maybe I was texting some of my friends, maybe I might go hang out with them later or something going on. I don't know, but at least something. I want this to be the bare minimum. I think we're worth it. Are you worth it? I know I believe I am worth 1 hour of my day to do something that I absolutely love, to refresh, to recharge, to save our sanity, to stay consistent and make ourselves a priority. And maybe if you really like this message, maybe you can write out in your journals today the activities that we had down here. What activities do you really love to do to spend an hour of your day to do something that you love? Awesome. All right, folks, that's really all I had today. I got a bit of a banger of a day over the next several hours until I do my hour, but it's already booked out. It's already in the calendar for early afternoon. I'm going to get right to it. I got to do a presentation and a couple work meetings, but it's going to be a fun day. We're going to take advantage of it. But if you guys ever have any questions with this, or you need help figuring out activities or fun things to do, don't hesitate to comment or DM or whatever. I'm always open for a conversation. But if you love this message, share it on your favorite social media. Maybe someone else will need to hear it. But just spending that 1 hour, spending that 1 hour today to do something that you love to do. Whatever that is for you, scrapbooking, maybe you try something new like playing an instrument. Whatever that is that you love to do, even if it could be spending time with your family and your friends, and you're just totally present, you're there, you're engaged in it. Hopefully it can make life a whole hell of a lot better. Cheers, friends. That's all I have for today. We're going to roll out of here. Again, if you like the video, share it. It means the world to me, as we're trying to have a zero cost way to spread love and positivity and personal development. Cheers, friends. Love you all. Save your sanity. 1 hour a day of doing something that you love. And I'm done for the weekend. I'm heading up to my buddy's birthdays this weekend. So we're heading up to Milwaukee. It's going to be a good time. Probably have a few beers and not get too crazy, but just hang out. I like the city of Milwaukee. It's a cool city. So hopefully the weather is nice to us and it's nice and sunny. But even if it's not a sunny day, it's still going to be a good one. I used to let the weather control whether I was going to have a good day or not a lot in the past, and I just don't think that's the right way to go. You can't have that external stuff. Like we talked about happiness being the difference between your expectations and the event itself. So don't set yourself up for failure. It can be a good day even if it's raining outside, is my point. Either way, going to be traveling up to Milwaukee. Going to be a fun time seeing a bunch of friends. Even got some friends flying in from Florida. Haven't seen it in a while, so it's going to be a good time. But you guys have a great, great weekend. Continue to chip away. Figure out the activities that you love to do. Give 1 hour at least every day to save your sanity and see if it's helpful. Cheers, friends. I'm out of here. Peace.